There's a lot of products floating around out there. You know that already. I think you'll see that expensive does not necessarily mean the best. Okay, so oils, greases, waxes are all hydrocarbons. Frog lube, a hydrocarbon, obviously one of the more popular ones out there, is essentially a wax. A lot of people swear by it, and that's fine. But you need to have like a hair dryer, excuse me, ready to just to apply it. You have to heat surfaces up to 150 degrees just to be able to apply the stuff. And you know, if you're okay with that, that's fine. A lot of people swear by it. But you know, even that said, it's not that great of a product. Your gun can still fail with it. You know, not really for me. A lot of people kind of swear by, you know, the military folk also swear by the, you know, the CLP. That's the cleaner, lubricant, preserver in one, kind of a 3-in-1. You know, when you start combining different, you know, functionality of your oil, I think you're kind of asking for trouble because they actually can kind of, you know, work against itself. When you start getting high temperatures of 130, 150 degrees, that stuff can start drying out your gun and evaporating, leaving you with a dry paperweight. And of course, one of the big ones that people are talking about now is the Fire Clean. I mean, if you want to spend $15 an ounce on crap, you can buy that stuff. It's basically a synthetic canola oil. I know there's a lot of debate about that. Like, what exactly is it? Is it just canola oil that they've packaged in tiny bottles for a huge amount of money? I mean, do you wonder why it's so expensive? I mean, have you ever wondered why it has an expiration date? It's because they have to add additives to it to stop it from polymerizing. That's basically where the crap starts turning solid along like the top, you know, where the lid is. And I mean, if you don't believe it, you can actually go pick up a bottle of canola oil you have in your kitchen, an older bottle, take off the cap, and you'll actually see where that's polymerizing on the top there. That is what can happen in your gun. I mean, that's why it has an expiration date. You know, it's great for cooking tater tots, not so much for the moving parts in your gun. So I won't put it in my gun for that reason. You know, by the way, Matt V29 actually put out a pretty funny video where he uses the Fire Clean to cook. I think he uses Hot Pockets in the video, but it's pretty cool. You know, so what I prefer to use, no, not WD-40, but is synthetic motor oil. Got that on in frame. Here we go. Synthetic motor oil. I mean, if it's good enough for your car, it's going to be good enough for your gun. You know, obviously this came from the automotive oil. This was like $8 at Walmart. Got a tiny little slip there because I put it in a little squeeze bottle here. So I figured that's the best deal in town. And this stuff is great. I mean, synthetic oil is a lubricant made of chemical compounds that are actually artificially made or synthesized, is kind of the word they use. You know, these synthetics can be manufactured chemically modified petroleum components rather than using whole crude oil. Like basically not a fossil fuel product. And you get a lot of advantages with that, higher viscosity and a bunch of other stuff, you know, that works better in different temps and everything. Lasts forever, it's indestructible. I mean, you know, all temperatures, it's going to work okay. It'll stay in the gun, it's not going to leak out, it doesn't fail, doesn't evaporate, and it's actually easier cleanup too, just the way my experience in using it. Real easy to use. You know, it's thick, you know, so for some high-end custom like race guns, some guys will actually mix in automatic transmission fluid as a blend, kind of to cut it down and give it just a little bit of a thinner consistency to it. And I've heard people complaining, oh, you know, you have to wash your hands with soap and water after handling it. You know, and that's kind of the point. You know, it sticks to everything, and it's kind of the what it should be doing when it's coating surfaces. You know, like Rem oil, you know, Fire Clean, CLP, and Frog Lube. You know, it doesn't protect and lubricate like synthetic oil because it's thin and breaks down. Like I mentioned before, it can actually solidify It's either solidifying or evaporating off the gun. So synthetic motor oil, you know, give it a try. It's good for operating, bad for frying your French fries in it, and it doesn't smell as bad as you think. Not like conventional oil. So go ahead and leave your hate comments of why you think your more expensive lubricants are better. I'm sure I'm not going to be converting most folks over to synthetic motor oil, and that's okay. You know, people argue left and right about what they use, and you know, I'm sure there's some old timers out there that use WD-40 for everything, for cleaning and lubricating a gun. That's fine. So appreciate you watching. Give it a try.